Hey guys, this is WalterFootball.com After Dark Show for January 19, 2024. We're going to be doing the Week 20 NFL picks against the spread for the 2023 NFL season. That's the divisional round of the playoffs, round 2 of the playoffs. Joined once again on Thursday, as usual, by QuackyTakes with Tommy. Tom, how are you?
Good, man. I gotta say, I'm even more excited this week since my Green Bay Packers won. I really can't believe it happened. I can't wait to get into the discussion with it and all the games this week. And hey, to the whole Walter football family, thanks for joining. As always, we love having you. But I can't wait to get in. We're gonna have a good show tonight, Walt.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say about the Packers and the other 3 games. Can't wait to get into it. Do you remember how you did last week? I know you had Green Bay. I think you had the Rams as well. Do you remember how you did overall?
Yeah, I picked the Rams. I took I missed the Browns. I missed the Dolphins. So I went 2-2. But I ended up I went 2-3 because even though I said the Bucks on here, I ended up tweeting out that I changed to the Eagles. I thought, the angle, and I think you and I know this pretty well, being from the field or living around the Philadelphia area. It seems like the Philly teams always do well when all the chips are down, and I thought it was going to be one of those situations, and we'll talk about that one too. Oh God, man, that was. I don't even know how to describe that, but yeah. So 2-3 overall, but my my wounds healed quickly given that Green Bay won. So can't wait to get into it, man.
Yeah, for sure. Can't wait as well. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would mean a lot to us. If you really want to help support the show, we are very close to 4,000 subs, so please hit subscribe. 70 shy, in fact. If we don't hit it within the next week or so, I'm gonna have to start begging on Twitter. So please make it so I don't have to beg on Twitter. What'd you say?
We'll do it too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I no shame. And if you really, really want to help support the show, please consider donating with super chats. We're getting absolutely nothing through YouTube ads. It's like $1.50 per episode. At least like back before the new year is $5 an episode. You could buy a Happy Meal or something like that. You get one of those toys. But now we can't even get one of those toys. So it's a pretty sad state. So $1.50 per episode is pretty horrible. So we've been having some good super chats recently. You go ahead.
No, it really has been great, and we definitely appreciate you guys. I'm about to move out from under the overpass, so because of them. So thanks to all those who've donated. G Chuck and Mike Hartle. All right, we got a squad in here already.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, any help would be appreciated. If you want to help, even if you can't donate, just send this link out to someone who may like the show and doesn't know about it. Anything like that would really be appreciated. So. All right, so we have 4 games this weekend, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. The first one is Texans at the Ravens. This game starts at 4:30. This line has been teetering between 9 and 9.5. It's 9.5 now. There are a couple of things to note before I discuss what I'm doing here. First is the weather. So the wind is a little dying down now. So it was projected to be 19 miles an hour. It's now 17 miles an hour. The temperature is projected at 24. It's now 26. Not like huge differences, but this is a Houston team that plays in the South and in a dome. So it's of the 4 teams on the road, you'd have to think that they're going to be more affected by the weather than anyone else. Injury wise, the big injury here is Marlon Humphrey, the number 1 cornerback from the Ravens, has been ruled out. He got hurt in the Miami game week 17, so he hasn't been able to come back from the calf injury. Mark Andrews practiced fully on Wednesday and Thursday. He's listed as questionable, and John Harbaugh said his status is up in the air. So I don't expect Harbaugh to tell the truth. There's no reason for him to do so. I think Andrews is going to play, but I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have. I think he's going to be he might. I don't know if he's going to be a decoy or anything, but I think that he's going to be I think if he plays, I think he's going to be impactful because I don't think they're going to rush him back from that injury. So my take on this game is I still like the Texans. I'm a little bit concerned about the weather, but it's not like terrible. It's not like in the teens or in the single digits. It's 26. It's not terrible or anything. And the wind is 17 miles an hour. As long as it's not above 20, should be fine. Yeah, with the Ravens, I'm not sure if they're all that cracked up to be like if they're all that they're all cracked up to be because they just like I know they've had some big wins, but they're a little misleading. Like they crushed Miami, but Miami went on to really struggle after that. They crushed the Niners, but the Niners made a lot of careless errors in that game. They struggled to put away the Jaguars. They struggled to put away the Chargers. They almost lost to the Rams in overtime. Rams are a good team, but still. I think this Ravens team is vulnerable, and I think especially with Marlon Humphrey out, I think CJ Stroud should be able to throw on the Ravens, and if anything, get a backdoor cover. So I like Houston to cover the spread. What do you think about this game?
I actually like Baltimore, and Baltimore might be one of my favorite plays this week. I really like the way Chris Henderson here put it. He said Texans seems like the obvious play. So Baltimore's likely to play. I'm with you, and the reason I'm not going to pull the trigger completely on saying right now that it's my favorite play is that most of my argument, like I'm looking at scores and odds, and it seems like this line went from 8.5 to 9.5. With most with it's like I'm seeing some reverse line movement here, and I don't know, like I agree with what you said there, Walt, that to some extent that like they struggle to put away the Jags, and some other games as well. But when I'm looking at their schedule here, I just feel like every good team has like a big letdown game. Like they lose to someone they're really not supposed to. And like you look back, I'm not going to count the last game because they were playing their backups. But I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 6. Don't mind me while I math. They're 10-1, like outside with excluding that Week 18 game, which again I'm not counting. So I don't know. Like I think I really love Stroud, and I think this Texas team is definitely on the rise. But I agree with Chris Henderson. I think this is a little too easy. The line seems, at least from what I'm seeing on scores and odds, is moving in the opposite direction. And the Ravens, I mean, those injuries are definitely concerning, but they haven't had a letdown game. I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe this could be it, but they haven't given me any reason to go against them. Otherwise, again, the injuries aren't favorable. But I like the Ravens here, and I like them for maybe 3 units actually.
Yeah, so originally on Tuesday, I said that I would have 2 units on Houston. I think the weather is kind of taking me off of that, so it's a little bit of concern. We had a comment about the weather, trying to find it. G Chuck saying Stroud played at the Ohio State. He'll be fine. He might be fine, but what about the other guys? All the other Houston players who aren't used to this cold weather. So it is a concern. The wind is more the factor, though. And remember, for Ohio State and other college football teams, they don't really play into December, maybe the first weekend of December sometimes, but usually their season ends in November, and then they play their bowl game at late December, and it's usually in a southern place or the dome. So the weather usually doesn't affect college football as much. Sometimes it does for sure, but usually it's not terrible. Let's see. Yeah, you were talking about Chris's post. Yeah. CHR Wedge saying, I hope you have heard of the Kirk Cousins curse. Any team that has beaten Cousins during the season has never made it to the Super Bowl. It's an interesting curse. I don't know what caused it, or it's some sort of voodoo doll associated, or I don't know.
What a terrible night for a curse, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I want to kind of piggyback on, and I hate to say this because I really love Stroud. I really like this Texans team. But I mean, Flacco's been throwing interceptions all year. He was bound to throw a couple, before. I mean, 2 of them went back for touchdowns, and one of them killed a drive that could have gotten the Browns back in the game. So maybe I could argue that the Texans win was slightly deceiving. Maybe, I mean, it was, I think it was at least for some time, I think you can make the argument that the game was a little bit closer than the score indicated. I mean, the Browns barely, or the Texans were barely even on offense in the third quarter, if I remember correctly. So I don't know. I think also I'm I had actually closed out of it. I brought up scores and odds. This line opened at 8.5 and moved to 9.5, but most of the money is on, over 60% is on Houston. So I'm surprised to see the line move that way. So yeah, I like Baltimore here a good bit. No shade to Houston, but I'll be on the Ravens.
Yeah, it went to 9.5, and then it went down to 9, and then it went back to 9.5. So not sure what's going on there. we question here about any thoughts on Texans handling scrambling running quarterbacks. In terms of allowing rushing yards, the quarterbacks of the Texans are ranked 15th, so just right in the middle of the pack. But in week 1, they really frustrated Lamar Jackson. He really struggled. It was 7-6 at halftime, and then the Ravens got going in the third quarter, and C.J. Stroud had a bit of a meltdown. As you might expect, it was his first start. As DeMeco Ryans' first game as a coach, too. So they were at a big disadvantage against John Harbaugh. So they're a different team now. But then again, this Ravens team is also different. Like, they were really banged up at the beginning of the year. It's I don't know how much you can look at week 1. As far as handicapping this game, I don't know if, like, probably not very much, but there was something with that Houston pass rush frustrating Jackson, and I don't know, maybe Ryan says the secret sauce. He is a really good defensive coach. I will say this, that Lamar Jackson is 1-9, and Jacob brought this up, so credit to him. 1-9 against the spread in his last 10 games as a favorite of 7.5 or more. So this Ravens team typically does not cover high spreads, but you could argue that this Ravens team is the best Ravens team we've seen since that 2019 Jackson MVP season. So
definitely. I think this is going to be like a 30. I could see this being like a 35-14 sort of game. I really like the Ravens a good bit. So.
Okay. Jason's saying everyone loves Stroud, but unless Collins gets 3 touchdowns, Ravens by 10. Well, Collins could certainly get 3 touchdowns against a Ravens secondary missing Humphrey. So, because everyone likes Stroud, so most square bettors like Houston, they keep it close. And maybe there's something to that. And CHR Wedge saying,
I agree.
Yeah, Green Bay, San Francisco are the only teams still playing that were beaten by Cousins this season. The Buccaneers beat Minnesota in week 1, and the Chiefs beat the Vikings in week 5. Detroit did not. Well, it's a good thing because I have the Lions to win the Super Bowl as a big bet from the preseason. So happy.
That's some curse. It really is.
Yes. All right. Second game. So your Packers at the 49ers. This line opened up. I think it was 9 or 9.5, and it's 9.5. It's remained at 9.5. Hasn't really moved. Checking in on the weather. 14 mile an hour winds. It's gonna be rainy. So I don't. Rain doesn't really matter that much unless it's like a torrential downpour, which I don't. I don't know if I'd expect it or not, but definitely something to look out for on the weather report. We have injuries here. The final injury reports are up because these teams play on Saturday. Jair Alexander was limited DNP, so not very good to see that. But then again, he did play last week, playing injured, so maybe there's still a chance he plays. 49ers, not much. Cleveland Farrell's out, not a big deal. Dre Greenlaw is questionable. So the Niners are pretty healthy. So I think that this is a really good matchup for the 49ers. The Packers are the weakest against the run and tight ends. And how do the 49ers like to attack? They like to attack with the run and the tight ends. So Christian McCaffrey, I think, should have a big game unless he's not 100%. And I think George Kittle should have a great game as well. Like we just saw what Jake Ferguson did against the Packers, albeit like some of that was garbage time, but still like he was having a good game even before garbage time. So I like how the Niners match up with the Packers. However, with Jordan Love like being hot and stuff like that, and I think the Packer offensive line has played well. I think that the Packers, I think they could put up a fight. So I don't think it's like an easy pick by any means, but I do like how the Niners match up with the Packers on offense. So I'm going to take them. I'm not in love with this pick, but I think that the Niners cover. But I'm curious to hear what you have to say about your team.
Oh, we're going to get into it here. Let me tell you, as a lifelong Packers fan, this is maybe the most proud I've ever been of the team. I couldn't believe this game against. Like I mean, I did take. For those of you who don't know, most of you are familiar by now. I've handicapped what I'm like 2. I was 2-15 like during the season, handicapping my own team, the Packers. So as a result, I've been coming on here and making my pick the opposite so that they'll win, which I did last week. And hey, it worked because you got to fade me on the Green Bay picks. This team, I can't get over every receiver and tight end they have is a rookie or second year player. Love looked so poised, like it was. I thought it would be close, but I didn't think it was going to be like that. Did you see Jimmy Johnson yelling at the Cowboys at halftime? That was awesome. That was, I mean, They never had a chance. They never had a chance, and I just didn't. Of all the ways I thought that game would go down, I didn't think it would be like that. At the same time, though, they've been like Jekyll and Hyde all year. Like my record picking them has been proof. But also, I mean, how much stuff? Like for me, like I think like the greatest, like your points are taken. Like running the ball and tight ends for sure. Like they could. 49ers are one of the best teams in the NFL, obviously. But I think for me, like most of the nerves here are the fact that the 49ers have owned the Packers, at least in the Rodgers era, and they're 0-3 against the Packers. And I think that's kind of weighing into the decision a little bit here too. But I don't know. Like my expectations, well, you know what? I don't know what my expectations are for the Packers this weekend. All I know is like the future for that team is bright for sure. So I've never been more proud of this team, but I'm going to officially make my pick the 49ers because I've been great at fading me on these picks has been good, and that's the way I want it to work out. But regardless, the future's bright for Green Bay. I'm going to take the 49ers here, though. But maybe you can read in between the lines there.
The Packers, good.
Yeah, I just like what happened, man. Oh, here's the other thing I want to say, Walt. When they had that pick six, it reminded me, like right near the end of the half, that really reminded me of the Tramon Williams. And again, this is just from personal experience. Please don't hang your hat on this. But in 2010, when Tramon Williams had that pick six, it literally ended the half. The clock hit 0. He had the pick six of Matt Ryan in the divisional round. And as soon as that happened, I knew Green Bay was going to win the Super Bowl that year. I was certain, and they ended up winning it. I don't know, just something about that just seemed like eerily familiar. And like, that pick six right before, again, don't hang your hat on that. But I remember after that game too, Brett Favre did like an interview with ESPN or something. And I'll never forget the headline. He said, Favre said the Packers are the best left, like the best team left. And I remember reading that. I was like, now, like they're definitely going to win it all. Like, I don't know. I just had this weird feeling. And then I saw something with Favre, like after that is saying like, they're like one of the best teams like that are in there. So, again, nothing, this is just Quacky. That's Quacky feel for you. But it just seemed like so eerily similar. I'm just excited about the Packers. This could take a while. My Cardinal is saying this could take a while, yeah. So I digress at this point, but exciting time. But my pick is going to be the 49ers. So you know how that's gone with fading me. So,
well, I mean, let me ask you this. Like, you knew back then that the Packers are going to win. Like, do you have that same feeling now, or is it just like, I know it's optimism. You said it's optimism for the future, but is it like, do you have the same feeling that they could win Super Bowl this year?
It's hard. I mean, a very similar feeling. But I mean, I think kind of bringing my last point full circle. I think like the hesitation here, like, is that the 49ers just own them. Like they never beat San Francisco.
Yeah.
They beat in 2020, they beat them in the regular season, but then the 49ers beat them in the playoffs. They just own Green Bay. But I don't know, like then maybe I can argue this is a new era. I mean, it is, obviously, but like, I don't know. It feels, I mean, this is a very inexperienced team. That was only Rodgers' third year starting, when they went to the Super Bowl. So I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's also easy to say with all these young players. I mean, can they really, such a young, team really go that far? Because, typically that doesn't happen. So,
right.
So yeah, right. I have a similar feeling, but not as strong, I would say, as I did back in 2010.
Yeah, I think typically, a young team like that has to they meet a wall, or like they have to overcome something. Like, it reminds me of, I was a Sixers fan growing up, and like for those first Allen Iverson years, they bumped into the Pacers twice in the playoffs and they lost. And then they finally beat the Pacers the third year. And so like, I feel like the Packers would have to overcome the Niners. Like it feels like they almost have to lose here. And then next year, maybe they can beat them, or the year after. So
they're like the bad boy Pistons to the Jordan Bulls.
Exactly.
Well,
you always said that. Yeah.
I think not necessarily or maybe it'll be with the Ravens. I think that, like, the Texans are the team more likely than the Packers to hit that wall and not cover this week.
Right.
I think that's and that's. But I mean, 49ers are good enough that they could blow them out. The crappy Green Bay could show up that we've seen, during the season. Team that lost to the Giants, team that lost to the Broncos. And they had some other bad losses in there, but I mean, I don't know. I'm excited though. This is going to be. Let's see. What's Chris Williams? If somehow Green Bay upsets San Francisco, the Lions should be very amped up to. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming we'll get to the Lions game, but
yeah, I think the Lions would be very happy to host an NFC Championship game. First of all, but yeah, they would have some nice revenge on their hands after that game. I don't think the Lions are very focused for the Packers in that game because they beat them, they crushed them the first time. They're big favorites on Thanksgiving. I think they just like kind of assumed that they would win, and they just kind of like were going through the motions. I don't think that they were really focused. But
well, I'll tell you what, Green Bay winning and being the lowest seed really helped out our Lions' future, huh? I mean, I think anything could happen, but they were either going to play Tampa Bay or the Eagles. Yeah, sign me up for that.
It's pretty funny that they didn't sit their starters to get the 2 seed, which was like an extreme long shot, and they managed to effectively get the 2nd seed anyway.
Yeah,
it's funny how that works.
Maybe Campbell's, but there's he really had something there, going for 2 from the 7-yard line.
Yeah, I like Dan Campbell with it. He's done a couple crazy things recently. Jason asking, am I crazy to think that Packers Niners is the hardest to predict? The Packers are a big question mark in this playoff. I don't know what to expect. They put completely out of their butts the past 2 months. Yeah, they've been like hot and then super cold and hot and super cold and then hot again. Like this team has been the ultimate roller coaster ride, which I guess you might expect from the youngest team in the NFL. So maybe it's not that much of a surprise that they're doing that. But they are peaking at the right time, and they are like of all the teams coming into this weekend. You could say that they played the best. Like they completely dismantled Dallas. Like no one expected that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, let's talk about that. I mean, I never expect, and 48-32, and it wasn't even that close.
Right. Yeah, it was 48-16. Yeah.
Yeah. So. It wasn't even that close. I thought maybe like there was a chance, like if Green Bay was going to win, it was going to like they would have like maybe like a touchdown lead max and like have to hold them off at the end, sort of thing.
Right.
I didn't think it was. They were just doing whatever they want. I mean, that touchdown, what was the one to Musgrave? I mean, he was pretty wide open, but like, well, not pretty wide open. He was extremely wide open, but they were just like doing whatever they wanted. That's the first time I've seen the Green Bay offense like do whatever they wanted on every single drive. That was crazy. And how many? Like they couldn't get any pressure on Love either. So right. Hey, I mean. I don't know. Is it one of those? Oh, it's just a random aside too. You know who? If you play DFS, play Bo Melton. I love Bo Melton. Sign up from he's had a couple good. He didn't have a great game against the Cowboys, but like he's a good dark horse. Like if you were going to like do a showdown, put him in the captain spot. Like he can catch a touchdown. Like I mean, you have him in the captain spot, and he has like a decent game. You're gonna because he was super cheap. So and like Bo Melton can make some noise if you play showdowns. Just one idiot's opinion, but yeah. Can you tell I'm excited? I can't believe this is happening. I didn't think they were going to win.
I like Bo Melton. I like them coming out of Rutgers. So I'm happy to see that he's doing well. Unfortunately, like Christian Watson being active kind of like torpedoes his upside. Like if Watson's out or something like that, then I definitely love Melton. But it's like there's so many receivers. It's tough to like kind of predict which one's going to go off. Like Romeo Doubs went nuts last weekend, and no one played Romeo Doubs. Now it's going to be more expensive, and everyone's going to play Romeo Doubs. My suggestion is to not play Romeo Doubs because it could easily be one of many other Packer receivers.
Yeah, well, play Melton or Wicks as the dark horse. I like Dontavian Wicks too. So
I like Reed because he caught no passes last week, and he's been a receptions machine. So I think that was the fluke. That Dallas is great against slot receivers. They're number 3 in the NFL against slot receivers, and Jaden Reed plays in the slot. So it wasn't that much of a surprise to see him struggle. And now that he gets the Niners, who are like just average against slot receivers, so it's definitely a better matchup for him. So CHR Wedge saying the oil leaking Detroit is going to be going to the Super Bowl to face either Jackson or Bills Mafia. Yeah, I mean, we said Bills Rams, right? So the Lions beat the Rams, so now it's Lions Bills, right? I think that's how it works.
Yeah, well, remember before the season, I told you, Walt, of course I didn't bet it, but I thought it was going to be Bills and Lions in the Super Bowl. I probably have that on a text somewhere.
I remember you saying, yeah, you definitely said, and like people didn't hear it because you weren't on the show back then, but you definitely told me that you love the Bills, and you compared them to the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks, where like the Bucks, like they're always expected to win, they never did, and then finally when like people did not expect them to win, they won. And like you made the comparison to the Bills, and I didn't bet it then because I was looking for a good number to bet the Bills, and I finally bet the Bills at 19-1 when they were like really struggling. But then they showed like one sign of life, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bet this. So I bet the Bills at 19-1.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I have a good number on them. So I'm hoping Bills Lions so I can win no matter what, you know.
Yeah. How many Chris's are in the chat?
Can't make it equal says Alexander. Yeah, we're a bit behind in the chat. Alexander's coming off of being injured, then took a big hit in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I don't know if he's 100%, so we'll have to see. So Chris Williams says or asks, Walt, what happened to that old trend of teams scoring 40 plus in the playoffs being terrible the following week? So I pulled this up. So as you can see here, I'll enlarge this. There are 10-19. This is all time. Well, dating back to 1989. Teams that score 40 points or more in the playoffs. The next game in the playoffs, they're 10-19 against the spread. Doesn't look good. However, if you scroll down, you see the recent results are 6-2 recently. Dating back to 2017. They were 6-2 against the spread. The only two losses were Bills against the Chiefs, which really could have gone either way. That was the overtime game. And the Chiefs-Bengals last year, which also could have gone either way. So really, this could be 8-0 against the spread in the past 8. So I do not recommend looking into that. I don't know what has changed, but certainly something has changed because before this 6-2 record, these teams score 4-17 against the spread, which is just phenomenal. And now 10-19, still pretty good. But you know, these recent results kind of make you wonder if it's still worth looking into this.
The game that came to mind as soon as you said that stat was the 2007 NFC Championship game when I saw it on the list. As soon as I thought of it too, it's when Green Bay lost to the Giants. That was the year the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that game because they threw up a 40 burger. The Packers did against the Seahawks in the divisional round. Seahawks actually came out to a 14-0 lead, and I think the Packers won like 45-20 or something like that.
Yeah,
but the Seahawks started out 14-0. Packers won like 45-20, and I just remember thinking because that was the year. Sorry, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, but we got some time to fill.
Sure.
That was the year that the Cowboys were the 1 seed. Green Bay was the 2 seed. They were both 13-3. Romo was the quarterback. And remember, he went on vacation with Jessica Simpson on their bye week, and people were making a big deal about it. And like no one expected the Giants to do anything. I will never forget. Now this is 2007, folks. So like you didn't pull like an app up to put a bet in. Like you had to call somebody. You know, so like, I just remember watching the pregame. And like seeing Romo's eyes, and he just looked terrified. I'll never forget. I remember thinking, if I had $1 million, I would bet it on the Giants right now. He looked so scared, and they ended up losing the game, of course. But then I remember because Favre had never won in Dallas. Favre never won in Dallas, and they were going to be the 1 seed. So I was like, oh, like you know, it's going to be stacked against us, you know, as a Packers fan here. Like, oh, could we beat Dallas? We already lost to them. That was when Rodgers remember he came in when Favre got hurt that game in the regular season against the Cowboys? Mm-hmm. That was when we were like, oh, this Aaron Rodgers guy might be good. Huh. But like,
maybe.
I remember then when the Giants beat him, I was like, oh my God, the Green Bay hosted the NFC Championship game. I was like, there's no way we lose the Giants. And then I'll never forget, like 2 days before the game, I came to this like realization. I remember thinking, I was like, oh, wait, like I guess there's a chance. I guess there's a chance the Giants could win. Mm-hmm. Like it's like as if it didn't occur to me. And as soon as I thought that, I knew they were going to lose because I thought for sure I knew Green Bay was going to win the Super Bowl. Like in my mind, you know, that undefeated Patriots team was limping to the finish line. I was like, Green Bay is going to be the team to beat them, and Favre's going to ride off in the sunset, sort of thing. And they lost 20-17. I remember when Lawrence Tynes, he missed 2 field goals for the Giants in regulation, and then when he lined up in that one for overtime, it was 1 yard longer than the one he had previously missed. And I thought maybe they won't let him kick it. As soon as he lined up, I knew he was going to make it. It's like, how many can you really miss? They lost. That was Favre's last game in Green Bay. So, story time with Quacky here. So, hope you enjoyed it.
Well, that what you're talking about with Tony Romo, that was the genesis of the Aurora Snowmo effect, because he got a lot of flack for dropping that hold against the Seahawks in the playoffs. But I always like forgave him for that because, like, I'm like, he's a quarterback. Like, why is he holding like at this point? And like that could happen to anyone. So I forgave him for that. But then I remember that look as well. He did get a lot of criticism for going on vacation with Jessica Simpson. Like, you can't wait a couple of weeks after the playoffs are over to go on vacation. Like, it just felt like really weird. But
and then remember the TO interview for those who may not be familiar.
That's my quarterback.
Sunglasses. That's my teammate. That's my quarterback. And he was the one. Am I wrong? Wasn't he the one that was like making a big deal about it? about the vacation? He had the sunglasses on. You could see the tears coming down. That's my teammate. That's my quarterback.
T.O. had his mood swings for sure. T.O.
Yeah.
Packers 30-1 to win the Super Bowl in Caesars as the Quacks are down on the love train. Would you bet 30-1 on the Packers?
You have to fade me on the Packers pick, so no.
Okay.
No, not take that.
Okay.
Between lines for sure. What's going on there, Slew? Slew, I appreciate you, man. You've helped me reignite my Twitter account. I was like not doing anything, and now like I've been posting a lot more during the games. I appreciate you and everyone, but thanks for all the interactions. Y'all really help make this fun. So.
Chris asking, why are the Cowboys keeping Mike McCarthy? It's insane. Dak is bang average, by the way. He can maybe get you to the divisional round, maybe. I mean, think about it this way. Like, even if you think like that, you could say like Dak can't win the Super Bowl. I mean, like, Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl. Like, Dak is better than Garoppolo. Like, we know
Brad
that.
Johnson won a Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah. I mean, sure. Like, that was a different era, so you can maybe argue that. But like recently, Garoppolo went to a Super Bowl. Like, Dak can do that if Garoppolo can. But I think Dak needs to be coached up, just like Garoppolo was, and McCarthy can't do that. And I'm kind of curious to hear your opinion on this because McCarthy used to coach your Packers. Like, were you surprised that they kept McCarthy? I was pretty shocked. I thought he was going to be fired.
Yeah, I was surprised. McCarthy, I mean, I know, like, I'll always like him because he was there when they won a Super Bowl. But I mean, things can come together eventually for teams too. I mean, I'll never forget the blunders he had in the most heartbreaking game in Green Bay history, as far as I'm concerned, that 2014-2015 NFC Championship game against Seattle. He was like on the 1 yard line and was kicking field goals. Dude, if one of those, like they so many things went wrong in that game. I was just, I don't know. He just has he'd mess up a wet dream. Sorry, but like he's just like if there's a way to mess it up, McCarthy will do it. And I mean, I guess he hasn't. How many years has he been there now? Wait, because he got fired in 2018 from Green Bay. Did he get there the very next year? It was like 2 years later, right?
I can't remember either. Wasn't he like coaching like a girls like football team or something like that? Maybe I'm just misremembering something. But
I don't remember hearing about that.
He was like coaching the Powder Puff or something like that, and that he was getting criticized for it or something. I could be making this up. I don't know. I had a dream about it, but I really think it happened, and I remember like laughing about it.
Wait, so it's either you're contending either he did it or you had a dream about it.
I don't know, man. One way or another, it happened, whether it's real or manifested in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Quacky After Dark. Funny enough, that's what I call my video game streams too, Chris Williams. Yeah, it's double the After Dark here. But yeah, I think I'm surprised they kept him. Man, did you see those when they were panning to Jerry Jones? He was just like this, like the one, like I think after the pick six, he was like, it's like looking at people behind him. It's like, anybody got an answer here? I was like, damn, That's cold. Like to show. Oh, I can't wait till the Chiefs. Oh, we'll get into it. I can't wait till the Chiefs lose. They better pan to Taylor Swift, huh?
I've had enough Taylor Swift. I said it's the greatest love story of our generation, but I'm kind of over it already.
Yeah.
How
can you say
that? Yeah, I'm disappointed in myself. McCarthy 4 years in Dallas. Yeah, 4 more years for McCarthy.
Were you saying 4 more years, or were you saying or were you saying he's been there for
4 years? I mean, it could easily be 4 more years given how slow Jerry Jones is.
Yeah, it could be both.
Yeah. I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. Like maybe it's senility. It's keeping him on. I don't know. Maybe he's like, oh, McCarthy's good, and he just forgot what happened recently. So, let's see.
Alan. Jeez.
All right.
How's it going, Alan?
Okay, we had CHR Webs. Don't forget about the on fire Baker Mayfield. He's going to expose that Detroit secondary. So let's get into that game, shall we? It's the first of the Sunday games. Buccaneers at the Lions. The line is Lions -6.5. It's still 6 at Bookmaker, 6 -117. I said on Tuesday with Jacob that I was going to lock it in. Of course, I forgot to do that because I had some stuff to do, and then I was tired and just from chasing 2 kids around. It's kind of crazy. So I tend to be exhausted these days and I tend to forget a lot. So I did not lock it in. I'm hoping to get like a 6 -115. Like 117 seems like a little too much to pay for 6, but I don't know the exact number that you should pay for 6, but like 117 seems like a bit rich. I think 115 is fine though. So I'm just waiting right now. But yeah, you don't have to worry about weather in this game. The injuries though, I thought I saw something for Tampa. Shaq Barrett has not practiced at all this week. So there's something to monitor. Chris Godwin's been DNP limited, but that's about it. Baker Mayfield's practicing in full. He looked healthy for a change. And then Detroit, you had Sam Laporta got downgraded for full to limited. I think that's still okay as long as he's not DNP on Friday. I think that's fine. Otherwise, nothing else of note. But yeah, I love the Lions. I think they should be able to beat Tampa pretty easily. Like Tampa has been so lucky all year. It's been ridiculous how fortunate this team has been. Like they got down. They were outplayed twice by Carolina. They should have lost the second time to Carolina like very easily. They had 2 touchdowns taken off the board for the Panthers. They got outplayed twice by the Falcons. They got destroyed by the Saints in Week 17. They were very lucky to cover some spreads, and they were very lucky to win some games. Like, for example, Week 1, Kirk Cousins imploded with some just like fluky turnovers. Otherwise, Minnesota wins that game, and then Tampa doesn't even make the playoffs. In Week 2, the Bears are missing like half the roster, and that game was just a bad injury game for the Bears. Week 4, they beat the Saints like pretty easily. You might be looking at the score and like, wow, they crushed the Saints. That was a game where Derek Carr came back early from an injury with a shoulder injury, and he couldn't throw the ball downfield. That was the game where he threw it to Alvin Kamara 14 times because he couldn't get the ball downfield. Like it's these sort of wins that Tampa has had that's made their record inflated. Like they're not a 10-8 team. They're 9-8 regular season. They're probably like a 6-11, 5-12 team that just got really lucky with some wins. And they looked really impressive against the Eagles. And I think people might be willing to bet them. Like the public action is like 50-50 in this game. I think that's wrong. I think that Detroit is really undervalued here. I think the line should be closer to 10. And I think Detroit I think it's the easiest play of the week. I love the Lions. They're my top pick. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this one.
I love them too. I really don't understand this line. I was like, and the only thing keeping me from liking it more is the fact that like it seems so easy to me. I thought this line was going to be 9.5 or not, like closer to what the Texans and the Packers games, those games are. What am I missing here? Like, why are people taking Tampa Bay? I mean, I guess because they beat the Eagles, but come on, Eagles were out there playing. We'll get to that game more. They were out there playing freaking patty cake. That was the most, maybe the most pathetic playoff performance. And look, and I'm an Eagles supporter. That was one of the most pathetic playoff appearances I've ever seen in my lifetime. I know Hurts, there's injuries and stuff, but I mean, come on. And they were still in the game. I mean, if they would have just played like okay defense, like they could have maybe hung in there, or like it was just so it was really. I can't remember a game where I can't remember a game that was that hard to watch in some time in some time. So I don't get it. Like you said, Walt, I guess because of that, people really like Tampa. I mean, I might take alt line here -9.5 here for Detroit. I think this is going to be an easy win for them. I'd feel like a sucker almost because Detroit seems way too easy to me, but there's no way I can back the Bucs. I love the Lions here.
Yeah, I mean, there's more sharp money on Detroit than any other team this week, so it's pretty happy to see that.
I can't believe the action's 50-50. I can't believe that.
So yeah, I mean, when a team wins 32-9, like you're gonna get that, and I don't think the public knows very much.
I wonder too. Maybe the public thinks that the Rams aren't very good, and they think they barely beat them, right. And so I don't know. I mean, obviously, like we both thought the Rams were, and they are a strong team. So is Detroit. Yeah,
that is a great point on your part. Yeah, like one team won by one team won by 23, and it's easy to love the team that won by 23. But if like the average Joe Schmo better is like, oh, Rams were a lower seed than the Eagles, so they must have been worse than the Eagles. I feel like, and that's like not true. The Rams were a lot better than the Eagles. Had the Rams played the Eagles last week, the Rams would have won by way more than 32-9. So
yeah, I wonder if part of it too, Walt, is people are like, oh, they just beat the team that went to the Super Bowl last year versus the Rams. Like, oh, like they were terrible from us. This, people look at it that way, but we saw that they really turned it on at the end of the year. They were a really strong team. So yeah, I like him even more for that reason. So like again, the only thing holding me back is it seems way too easy, but I think maybe I'm on the right side here. Hopefully, anyway. But I like him at -9.5 on the alt line.
I like that idea to take him on the alt line. Jason's saying Lions by 10. Wouldn't be surprised if this is a blowout. Yeah, I totally agree. Chris saying, do you think the weather will be a factor in this game? Did you hear that question?
Yeah.
so good. For anyone who may have missed it, Todd Bowles was asked by a reporter. They're like, the weather in Detroit is gonna be like 17 degrees. Are you concerned? And he's like, no, it's indoors. It's like the calmest answer. Like he's like, no, it's indoors.
Yeah. Well, maybe they didn't want them to get sick in the cold weather or something,
Yeah, and then he was like, yeah, well, we're going to be outside for 20 minutes from the bus to the stadium.
That could have an effect. You never know.
That's true. All right. Can't Make It Eagle says Tampa receivers versus Detroit secondary. If Tampa can run and keep the D-line away from Mayfield, that'll be interesting. Well, Tampa won't be able to run. Detroit's number one against the run. I'd be shocked if the Buccaneers established any sort of running game. So it's going to be like a one-dimensional attack for Tampa. But, I think Mike Evans got dinged up in that game. Chris Godwin's barely practicing. Like, this is not a healthy receiving core for Tampa. So Alan Stafford, $10 super chat. Look at this. This is awesome.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you so much, Alan. So Alan asking, if one receiver can beat Detroit like Puka did, who would it be with Evans not 100%? Is it Trey Palmer? So let me let's pull up the receiving link that I don't know if I shared this on Thursday or Saturday, but this Razzball site has rankings for outside receivers and slot receivers. I don't know if you guys, let me zoom in here. I don't know if the zoom is going to work too well here with the site. Okay. All right, here we go. So wide points per game allowed to Detroit. Detroit allows the 7th most to wide receivers, and to slot receivers, Detroit allows the 5th most. So that's kind of interesting. So you have to wonder like who's going to be playing in the slot for Detroit and for Tampa. Sorry, and Tampa's slot receiver is Trey Palmer. And like I said, Evans dinged up Monday night. Godwin barely practicing. It could be Trey Palmer, and I assume you're asking for DFS, or I don't know if it's a proper DFS, but either way, like I think that Trey Palmer is more likely to go off, for his price tag. I mean, like he's super cheap. You can play him. You can play him and Godwin or him and Evans. Just see what happens. Evans is not in the injury report for what it's worth. So, I think that I still like Evans. I think is a good play. Just be careful with him. If you're playing a ton of lineups, don't like go crazy with it. But if you're playing 3 lineups, I think like you could put Evans in one lineup and Palmer, and then like the other lineup could be like Godwin and Palmer or something like that, and just make like Palmer your punt play. Whereas like if he does nothing, like you're not hurt by him because I think he's like 3,700 on DraftKings. So like even if he catches one pass, like you're not going to be killed. You can still cash. But like Palmer could definitely catch like 5 for 40 and a touchdown or something like that. Like he could do that sort of production. So, yeah, I mean, I like overall, you can't really go wrong with any receiver against Detroit. They're a super pass funnel. Tampa's going to throw a lot. Like I said, they won't be able to run at all. So it's going to be really pass heavy. And if Tom and I are right about the Lions winning this game, then Detroit's going to be ahead and Tampa's just going to have to throw a lot. So, I like Baker Mayfield in DFS, even though I think the Buccaneers are going to lose. Like generally, like a losing quarterback is going to have a high passing volume. Like they're just great plays in DraftKings, and I think Mayfield's the cheapest quarterback on the slate. I could be wrong, but he's definitely toward the bottom. So, yeah, I like Mayfield with 1 or 2 receivers, or probably just 2 receivers or Otten. I don't know if I like stacking him with Rashad White. I usually like stacking running back with a quarterback, but with this tough Detroit matchup, and plus like I like the other running back plays more, so I don't think I'd go White, but I think I'd go like if you're going to stack Mayfield with these guys, I think you'd go like Mayfield, Evans, Palmer, or Mayfield, Godwin, Palmer, or you can go Dustin and go Mayfield, Palmer, Otten, and then like just be able to spend up for everything else. I think that's an interesting build. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, thank you so much, Alan, for the super chat. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
Alan.
it.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about reporters. Okay, here we go. Can't Make an Eagle says McCarthy started at Dallas in 2020. He went 6-10, then 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. I think don't quote me on this. I heard this. I'm not sure how accurate it is. I think McCarthy is the only coach to win 12 or more games in 3 consecutive seasons and not make it to the conference championship in any of the seasons.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I tweeted out something that night. Green Bay has more playoff wins, 3 in AT&T Stadium than Dallas does, too. Because they beat them in 2016. They won the Super Bowl in that stadium in 2010. Not playing the Cowboys, of course, but obviously, and then this game. So that's crazy. That's just can't ever seem to translate, man, into the postseason or all the good teams they've had in 30 years, So
yeah, it's that is a crazy stat. Joe Schmo, Jason said Joe Schmo better is also see Tampa in a championship a couple years ago. Lions haven't won a playoff game. Yeah, it might be just people not believing the Lions. Like I
didn't even think about that as weird as it sounds. Go ahead.
I've said this before, and generally during the summer when I bump into people I know, and I'm like a recluse during the football season. Like I don't see anyone, but like so during the summer, people will be like, "Oh, who do you like for the Super Bowl?" Like the 2 questions I'm asked, like, "How do you think the Eagles are going to do?" and "Who do you like for the Super Bowl?" And I was saying like all during the summer, I'm like, I have the Lions Bengals. The Bengals, obviously, Joe Burrow got hurt, but people are like, "Oh, Bengals are good," and then they wouldn't say anything about the Lions. And the couple of people were like, who addressed the Lions are like, "Lions, come on." I'm like, "Yeah, they're a really talented team. They could do it." And they're like, "No, come on." And they just refuse to believe it. So it's like this mentality that the Lions can't win because they've been bad for so long.
Brand name recognition, yeah.
Yep. It's definitely true.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the last 2 seasons, this season and last when I was telling people like the Lions are good, same reaction. So there's a whole lot of merit to that.
Yeah. CHR Wedge asking, when push comes to shove, do you really trust your Lions quarterback? Do you remember his Christmas Day meltdown against the Packers? He is, I think he means Thanksgiving. Yeah, Thanksgiving. He's due for a bad game soon. I trust him more than Mayfield. I just said I like Mayfield in DFS, so that's a different story. But I trust him more than Mayfield. Goff has been to a Super Bowl. Granted, he did not play well in the Super Bowl, but that was against Bill Belichick, and this game is against a Tampa defense that can't stop the pass. So it's not a tough matchup for him. Now, if you want to say in the next round against the Niners, you trust him against the Niners defense? That's a different question, especially if it's on the road. Well, it's going to be on the road, but I like that is where I might be concerned about Goff, but not this game. Definitely not this game. I feel like this is like tailor made for him to do well. And he played well last week, so against a tougher Rams defense. So
also, Crowedge, let me say, unless you have other reasoning, this is just my personal opinion. If you're hanging your hat on somebody being due, I feel like it doesn't tend to work out unless there's other factors, pretty strong factors to go with it. I always use like the due, like a team is due or a player's due, feeling, in conjunction with other feelings. So that's just my personal opinion. If that's the only reason you think because they're due, maybe just tread a little carefully, but just one idiot's opinion. So take it for what it's worth.
Jason asking, what about Josh Reynolds as a punt play? 7 targets last week. Yeah, I like Josh Reynolds as well, as long as Khalif Raymond's out, and Khalif Raymond has been DMP so far this week. So just make sure Raymond is out. Because those guys tend to split targets when they play together. But if Raymond's out, I think Reynolds is a great play at 3,800. We did a DFS show Wednesday last night with Kenny, and we broke down the slate, I thought, pretty well. So if you want to go, if you want more detail into that, definitely check out that show. I do like Reynolds. I like Reynolds and Palmer for sure, and you can put them in the same lineup too. I think it's I think that'll let you get to the top 2 guys you want to get to this week are McCaffrey and St. Brown. Although I think you can make a case against McCaffrey, which I made on the show last night. Not that I expect him to be a bust, but I would rather play St. Brown than McCaffrey. But the goal is to get both of them in the lineup. But and those 2 cheap guys allowed you to do it. Jason saying Bengals the last team to have the Ravens by the throat before Joe got hurt. Also beat the Bills, who might win it all. Sucks so bad. Yeah, it's definitely feel bad. I know Jason's a Bengals fan. It's a tough ending to that season because I thought if they kept going, I thought they'd be in the Super Bowl. I thought they were the best team in the NFL. And then Burrow got hurt, unfortunately. Mohammed Savvy Twitter asking, is AJ Dillon out? I think he's questionable. Let's see. He is AJ Dillon is questionable. He was DMP limited. So check back at 8:00. It's the second game, so late swapping shouldn't be that difficult. I can't imagine that even if he plays, I can't imagine he's going to play that much. He's banged up, and plus Aaron Jones has been so great. He could siphon a goal line carry or something, which is would be a bummer, but that is the only concern. So yeah, just check before inactives. The hour and a half before the game, they'll let you know if he's inactive or not. But it's probably for the best for the Packers if he is inactive, to be honest.
I feel that way too.
Yeah, he's been a big disappointment. Remember that game against Tennessee he had in that first game of his, the first year of his.
I remember that. Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. He just went nuts, and it's oh my god, this guy's gonna be Derrick Henry. And then he's just gotten worse and worse. And he had a golden opportunity to have a big year this year. With Aaron Jones missing so much time, and he was just a huge bust, and you couldn't even play him in DFS. He was just so bad.
Yeah, disappointing for sure. Agreed.
Yeah, they need a better second running back. So the final game, Chiefs at the Bills. Let's look at the weather here. It's gonna be 18 degrees, 14-mile-an-hour winds. Not too bad there, but then again, this lake effect could always change things, So that's something to monitor. But right now, it doesn't look horrible. The injury wise is very key for Buffalo. They had 4 major injuries defensively. Christian Benford, DMP. Terrell Bernard, DMP. Fortunately, Tyrell Dotson, limited, and Rasul Douglas, limited. So it's a mixed bag here for the Bills injury wise. I was hoping for more clarity. I was hoping for them all to miss or for all of them to play because that would make handicapping this game easier. But if they're going to have half the guys, I think it's gonna be tough to predict this game. Honestly, I would side with the Bills right now if I had to. Another concern I have for the Bills is that they're playing on 2 fewer days of rest, which should help Andy Reid. However, I really want to fade this Chiefs team. I think they've been garbage all year, and you called it, Tom. Like you said that there's something wrong with them just from the get go, even. And you were right about them the whole time. So I definitely want to fade them. And the Bills have built themselves to beat the Chiefs. Like they're like they match up really well against the Chiefs. So that's why I'm picking them. But like if they're missing a lot of their players, it's gonna be tough. So right now it's I think it's difficult to predict this one. But I'm still on the Bills. What do you think about this one?
And they've got and the Bills have playoff revenge from previous seasons on their mind here too. That's probably adding fuel to that fire. I love the Bills here. I really can't stand this Chiefs team. I was wrong about them last week. They did cover against Miami, but I mean, I guess the weather got to Miami. I mean, like they just they couldn't get anything. Like they couldn't get any pressure on Mahomes at all. The offense looked absolutely terrible outside of the one touchdown to Tyreek Hill. But I just think maybe people think that the Chiefs are back. I just can't stand this version of them. They're really not very good. They dropped when we'll get into my Quacky's corner here. It's going to be in regards to this game. I think the Bills are probably going to win this pretty easily. The injuries I really don't like. But this is the team that got him. Like this Chiefs team got embarrassed by the freaking Raiders. Like I don't know. Like I think the weather definitely helped them. That Miami team couldn't do anything near the end of the season. So I guess in hindsight, hindsight's 50-50, of course. But Miami looked really bad. Geez, if the Eagles were the worst playoff performance I've seen in my lifetime, that Dolphins performance is probably in the top 10 or 15. So they just seem, with the weather too, obviously that hurt, but they just didn't show up. I think the Bills could win in a romp. Hopefully that injury report gets better, but I'll probably be on the Bills for maybe two units.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I want to see them healthier, but I don't know. Like if they're missing everyone on defense, like it's still going to be tough for them to stop them. I called them. I said this to Kenny last night, and he kind of like laughed at me. I was like, the Bills used to have a linebacking core called the Bermuda Triangle linebackers, because like the joke was like running backs would go in and they would never be seen from ever again. And this Bills defense is so bad with their injuries. They're like the Camden, New Jersey linebackers, because like you go in, like you want to leave like right away.
Well, that's good. Well, also, and don't forget, I think this is a small portion of the pie here, but like this is Mahomes' first ever road playoff game, and this is not an easy place. Buffalo's not an easy place to play. I mean, as far as there's not a whole lot of teams that have home field advantage. I don't know. I feel like that for your first road playoff game, and again, I love Mahomes. I just hate this version of the Chiefs. But it's a tough first road playoff game for sure. But obviously he has tons of experience, so that's why I say it's a very small portion of the pie here for me. But this Chiefs team has not looked impressive to me at all. Yeah, Jason, you see Tua just crumple to the ground every time someone was near him. It's like, how like sometimes you watch games, and you're just like, okay, like maybe this team could come back, or it's just like you can just tell it's like this team isn't going to do anything for the rest of the game. Like they're just not going to, like, that's how I felt about the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. They're just you could just tell they had no chance. So defense kept them in and held to some field goals early, but by halftime I was like, there's no way they're going to cover this. Like, why? So I think let's not be fooled. My point being is let's not be fooled by the margin of that first playoff victory against the Dolphins. So yeah, I like the Bills a good bit.
Yeah. Let's see what we have here. K McEagle asking, instead of a 2-team teaser, how about moneyline parlay of Detroit and Buffalo? It pays a little over a 6-5 or a 6-point teaser, Kansas City and Detroit. I like the teaser with the Chiefs up to 8.5. You get every key number. And you'd expect, like, I feel like the Chiefs would keep it close in a loss. Like, I think if they lose this game, it'll be like by 3 or 4, 6, 7, something like that. So I like that. And I would consider, Bills or sorry, Lions. Yeah, tease the Lions and Chiefs. I think that's a good teaser for this week. And it's like really the only teaser you can do because the other games are above 9. So like you're teasing 9.5 to 3.5, which just sounds horrible. So yeah, Lions Chiefs is the only teaser that makes sense to me. So Alan saying, I'm with you. I don't like the Chiefs, but their defense is legit. It's definitely true. No Gabe Davis per that report. Big game for Cook.
Oh, I'm sorry, Walt. I thought it said Gabe Davis was
Gabe Davis, DMP.
Okay. I was looking at the wrong thing then. Never mind.
Yeah, so by the way, Stephon Diggs popped up on the injury report with the foot, DMP. But I don't know how serious that is. Could be a rest day. Something to monitor as well. If Diggs and Davis are out, it's gonna be super tough to back the Bills. And that teaser that I talked about would look much more appealing. But yeah, Davis being out, like I don't think it's a huge deal. Like Khalil Shakir has done well in his place. And the Bills have other weapons. They have the two tight ends. They still have Diggs. Plus, like Josh Allen's gonna be able to run a lot, so not too much of a concern. Although the Chiefs are weakest against number 2 receivers. As great as that defense has been, they're weakest to number 2 receivers. So that's why I would like Davis if he were to play. But I think Shakir has proven himself that he can handle that job pretty well. So yeah, Shakir, another cheap guy I like. There's definitely a lot of cheap receivers you can play this week. G-Chuck saying the Bills will win because they're due, Quacky.
Yeah, not only are they due, but there's a lot of other factors playing into it, so that just makes it even sweeter there, G-Chuck. That's good, man. Thank you.
I think Jason's mistaken here. He said Shakir did nothing last week. He scored a touchdown. I think he had like 13 fantasy points, which at 3,700 is outstanding. Like, he's definitely not going to hurt your lineup. A huge play for the touchdown. Yeah, he did pretty well. He was doing nothing for a while, but then in the fourth quarter, he kind of went nuts. So
yeah, Jason, Shakir, not Shakira.
He had at 3,700. If you get 13 fantasy points, that's enormous.
That's pretty good.
It's like almost 4x value.
That touchdown was a nice play too. So,
he says relay lost because of garbage time points for the Eagles. You did not lose because of Shakir. I'll promise you that. Like if you did not win in DFS last week, it was because of other things, not Shakir. Like Shakir, I feel like you almost needed Shakir. In fact, I wonder if Shakir was in the winning lineup in the Million Maker. I think it's definitely possible because, like I said, a $3,700 receiver, getting 13 points is pretty outstanding. So. I'm actually going to look at that. So, let's see here. I'm going to pull it up. This is the Sunday slate. Shakir had 12.1 fantasy points at 3,400, not even 3,700, 3,400. So that's pretty great. Shakir was in the winning Million Maker lineup. Pull it up now for those wondering. Here it is. The $1 million winner. Oh wait, this is my lineup. Ignore this.
Congratulations, Walt. You're the million.
Yeah, right. Imagine begging for super chat money after $1 million. I wish I had done that.
Walt wins the millions.
I won $1 million. Please give me some money, please.
This guy, can you believe him?
Right. All right. Here we go. Dak Prescott. Prescott went nuts at the end. Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard, bro. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua, Josh Reynolds, Jake Ferguson, Khalil Shakir, Packers defense. So he stacked. He did the old Jameis Winston effect, where you go defense against your quarterback, hoping that the quarterback throws pick sixes and he's gonna have to throw more, which is the old trick that you used to do with Jameis Winston. Like, worked great. Worked with Prescott here. He stacked Prescott with Pollard, no Lamb, and Ferguson, which is key because Lamb did well, but he did not quite meet expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he got different there. Shakir, like I was saying, Shakir had to be in this lineup to make everything work. He actually double punted. He had Josh Reynolds and Shakir getting 13 and 12. Yeah, I'm saying like any 3,000 receiver who scores double digits you're gonna be super thrilled. And I think Shakir could definitely do that. So.
Hey, Can't Make an Eagle. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, here we go. I just saw this. Make an Eagle $9.99. Thank you so much. Enjoy, you guys. You can't thank Sue and Red Eye for turning me on to you guys. Thanks. Thanks so much for Slew for sending you this link and getting you on the show, and really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Those good folks, and so are you, Can't Make an Eagle. The Walter football family has really grown here. We love you guys. We really appreciate it. Can't Make an Eagle. Thank you.
I know. It's awesome. I feel like this community has grown so much, like even this year, but like compared to past couple of years, like feels like we have so much more engagement here than we did before.
For sure. Like, because I was on the show a couple times last season. And we would get some comments, but now it's like this is really great, y'all. Like I really like to see the chat flying like that. Like it reminds, like my video game streams are like that, and it's hard to catch up. That's such a good thing, and we're so grateful for all of you. So, it's one of the highlights of my week, like coming on here and just get to banter with you and hang out with all of you. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
I know. It is awesome. Thank you so much. I Can't Make an Eagle. I really appreciate it. Jason asking, no Devontae Smith in that lineup, which is kind of curious. Devontae Smith probably. I wonder if he was in like the. Here we go. Shout out to Austin who got third place. Devontae Smith. Where would Devontae Smith here? Is not. Oh no, this is Jason. This is the Sunday slate. So there was no Tampa Eagles game. So you must have been playing the weekend long slate. That was all 6 games. But this was the Sunday slate that would like included the Bills Steelers because it got moved. So yeah, there was no. So yeah, you must have been watching you must have been playing in that the weekend slate. Yeah. But they didn't have $1 million the first in that one. So they had $1 million the first on Saturday, $1 million the first on Sunday, and then the $1 million the first on Monday night. And I remember that because Kenny on the Wednesday show promised me that he said if he won all $3 million slates, he would give me some money, but if he won 2, then he would not. I was like, it'd be so sad if he won 2, and then they got second place in the $1 million contest on Monday. How crazy would that be? But this weekend is different. This weekend you get the $1 million for the whole weekend, and I know it's $500K on Sunday. So which is funny because like it's $100K on Saturday, $500K on Sunday, because like they know that not as many people are going to play the Saturday slate, but like people whose lineup sucked after Saturday, like they're going to want to reload on Sunday. So it just makes so much sense to have a bigger payout on Sunday. Jason saying I usually do head to head, but I doubt I'll ever win with a perfect lineup. I mean, like look.
Like that.
Well, yeah, but like look how many people are in this contest. 108,000 people. Like if you entered one lineup, you have a 1 in 108,000. Now, like you're going to be going against some crappy players, so maybe chop down a quarter of the field, right? So maybe you have like a 1 in 75,000 chance of winning. Like think about how infrequent that's going to be. Like how many slates are there? Obviously, there are 18 weeks in the season. There are $2 million slates last weekend, so you're up to 20, and then you have 2 more, and this week and next week. And then I'm not even going to count the Super Bowl because it's a showdown slate, and like those tend to chop. So like there are 22 slates, $1 million slates during the year. So like if you just divide 75,000 by 22, that's you have to play DFS 3,409 years to kind of guarantee yourself like a good chance to $2 million. So like that's just playing one lineup per slate, but still it is highly unlikely that anyone reading this will win the $1 million. Now like I feel like it's probably better here because like I feel like we're probably smarter than more than 25% of the field, just because like if you're watching a show on YouTube, like you probably are. But still, like it's so tough to win the $1 million contest because there's so many people. That's why I like to play the Spy, which is like it's like 2,000 entries of 2,500 entries. I know it's like $100 per entry, but like your chances of winning there is so much higher. Like I almost won the Spy a couple weeks ago. I was a 2v2 off. If I'd played James Conner and Giants defense instead of Zamir White and Panthers defense, I would have won the spy. Yeah. So it is like I like the smaller contest, but like what I usually do is like I'll play the spy and then I'll throw that lineup into the $1 million contest just in case. And in that week, I would have finished 5th in the $1 million contest, which just goes to show like if I would have won like a big like $100 contest, I still wouldn't have won the $1 million. So it's it just goes to show like how tough it is to win. But then again, if you enter 150 lineups per million per contest, then it gets easier that way. So that's my spiel there. So anything else before we sign off?
Oh yeah,
we have Quacky. What am I saying? We have Quacky's corner. I'm very I'm excited to hear it because you said it concerns the Bills Chiefs game, right?
Yeah, well, I've been high on these the defense and special teams touchdowns for the love of everything that's sacred. Take Bills defense and special teams to score a touchdown this weekend, and it's not that great of a number. It's plus 450 as these sort of touchdown score props go. But I mean, look at all the passes that this Chiefs team drops. I mean, even Kelsey what did he have, like 2 or 3 drops last week? And now the culture certainly has something to do with that, I'm sure. But it's like I just think there's like the way they've been going. The Bills have a lot of revenge on their mind here. Mahomes' first playoff game, all the balls that they've dropped this year, it just seems like a decent chance that like there's going to be like a deflected ball off their hands right in the arms of a Bills defensive player running back for the touchdown. Maybe I like that to happen more than, and it seems like Vegas might feel the same way. Usually these are at least like plus 550 or plus 600 for most teams. So that's Quacky's corner for this week. I really like Bills defense and special teams anytime touchdown. I think they're going to have a lot more opportunities than they would, against any other given team. Just on the drop passes alone for the Chiefs. So that's what I'll be on this weekend.
What number did you say you got?
I saw plus 450 on DraftKings.
Okay, plus 450. For the Bills, I'm seeing really you're seeing a plus 450 on DraftKings. I'm seeing plus 700 on FanDuel. So
let me make sure my eyes aren't deceiving me.
Well, I mean, FanDuel tends to have better odds anyway.
So plus 450. Yeah, okay. We'll take it on FanDuel if you. I want to see what it is on the Hard Rock app because that's what I'm running.
Yeah, 7-1 on FanDuel. I like that 7-1 for a defensive touchdown. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I really like that. Let me see what they have here.
Okay, yeah,
plus 550 on Hard Rock. So, but Hard Rock apps for those of you that are stuck in Florida, the Hard Rock like those props are always like way lower than like usually than like. Or rather, they're like almost always the same. Like it's almost always like plus 500 for like any team. It's I don't know. Like they just don't don't put any thought into it. So like if you're stuck on the Hard Rock app like I am, like choose like any other book probably. But I guess not DraftKings in this case. But usually that's not the case. So
it's 5-1 on BetMGM as well. So wow. Yeah. It's super important to shop around. I actually have a link in the description. It's the link at the very bottom where you can get like really good bonus bet opportunities for signing up for a sportsbook. So like even like I might as well just click it, but I think it takes you to this page. Let me show you. We can get like right now on FanDuel. It says bet $5 get $150 in bonus bets. I mean, that's awesome. Like why not do that? It's just it's a great opportunity. And like you can't cash that out right away, but like if as soon as you bet it once, and if you win, you get more money in your account, which you can cash out, or you can put in another sports book, or keep betting there. If you lose, then you just lost $5. So right. Just having those bonus bets is like super important. I told the story like a week ago where like I was redepositing into BetMGM. I already had an account, and they're giving me like double bonus bets. I'm like, like really, like just for reloading, and it is like pretty cool. It's just like free bets to make, and so it's always like you always have to look for an edge like that, because when you're betting sports, you don't get even money in most cases. You're paying 10% vig or something like that for usually. So it like that's a way to counter it and to get the odds more in your favor. So that's my recommendations to shop around and like have accounts of multiple books, and then just look for these opportunities like DraftKings $200 a month bets, just stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm on the show and I didn't know it was that much in bonus.
Yeah.
Chris Williams. This is a good question. I'm interested in this.
Would you rather fight one Quacky-sized duck or 10 duck-sized Quackies? I always think that like the questions like that, you'd always want to fight one, because like 10 is like you get surrounded like pretty quickly. Like I'd rather take on one, like knowing where that my enemy is, like rather than like 10's pretty tough. It was like 2 or 3, sure. That'd be
even if they're duck sized. I mean, you're not going to come out completely unscathed. Like you're going to get nipped at least a little bit here. So
yeah.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. The one Quacky sized duck.
Yeah,
I'd go with one Quacky sized duck if I were you. But
yeah, me too.
That's good, Chris. Thank you for that.
Can't Make An Eagle says, I'm stuck in Washington. I've got to drive 30 miles ahead to an Indian casino to make my bets. Well, I'm pretty sure you can sign up at like bookmaker.eu or Bovada or something like that. Like you can sign up at an offshore book and just do it that way. Like you may not have FanDuel, DraftKings, etc., but you could definitely do an offshore book. Like I've had an account at bookmaker for years. I've had an account at Bovada, which like it's funny, Tom, that you said like, oh, back in 2007 you had to call it in, but like I remember in 2007 I had an account at Bovada. I think it was Bodog back then.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, it was Bodog then. You're right.
Bodog. Yeah.
I did, in my defense, I did say app on my phone, so that wasn't
right. Yeah, but, I know what you mean, but yeah, like Bodog existed back then. There's some others. I think BetUS did as well. I didn't join bookmaker until like 2010, but around 2010. So, Jason say, love Walt taking this question seriously. Makes me wonder how he answers the trolley problem.
Put a great deal of thought in these things.
I will answer any question you guys have for me. Anything I'll answer honestly. So Red Eye says, Walt, do you anticipate a same game parlay for Saturday and Sunday? Yes. I'm deciding whether to do same game parlay for the 2 night games or a parlay for Saturday and a parlay for Sunday. I'm not sure, but I will have something of that nature, plus the props as usual. So Jason saying Wisconsin sucks, can't sign up for anything besides DSF on DraftKings. I don't understand these states. Just legalize gambling. You get revenue. Like it's so dumb. Like what are they doing here? Then answer the trolley problem. What is that? It's you move the lever to kill one person instead of 5, right? That's the trolley problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different. You know what I saw one on Harambe. It was like, do you pull the lever to avoid hitting Harambe, and like no one will ever know, like who Harambe was, or do you like what do we value more, like the Harambe or the idea of Harambe?
Huh.
It's pretty interesting because like if Harambe didn't die, then no one, it's just a gorilla,
Right.
So I thought that I saw that on Facebook when the whole Harambe thing happened. I thought that was interesting. I don't know what Don't ask me these questions.
No, I said I'll answer everything. No, with the trolley problem, it really depends on like just not knowing anything about it, like not knowing any of these people are at all. Of course, you move the lever to kill one person instead of 5. Like I think it's a no-brainer. And like you're gonna feel bad about killing that one person. Of course you will, but like at the same time, you save 5 people. So you net save 4 people. So of course you have to do it. However, he did. If you didn't press the lever, you killed 5 people. You kill 5 people if you didn't press, or you killed that 4 people if you didn't press the lever. So that has to be on your conscience as well. However, if you knew, like, if the one person was like someone who could potentially cure cancer and the other 4 were just like normal people, then I think that you have to save the guy who can cure cancer, but like in the heat of the moment and without any information, it's highly unlikely that you would know anything like that. So so I've answered your question. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different situation. I mean, there's stipulations here. I mean, if we know them, it's different. What if the 5 people are politicians?
So it's 0 versus 5. Kill 5.
Yeah, Harambe Memorial High School was the fantasy.
Oh my god, that's great. That's so funny. All right, or better yet, lawyers, or best of all, NFL referees. I still think politicians are worse than any of them.
I agree.
There are a handful of decent politicians, a very, very small handful, that like I feel like are in the best interest of the people, but like 99% of them are scumbags who are out for their monetary interests. Just hate all of them. So, whereas like lawyers are like lawyers who they're public defendants, stuff like that. Are good ones. And NFL referees, some of them are good, but like I feel like most politicians are bad. Like it's crazy to me, by the way. Like before we sign off, like a career politician should not be a thing. Like why is that a thing? Like it just feels like that just feeds into corruption. Like if someone wants to like serve the public and like really make a difference, like you shouldn't make that a career. Like you should just serve the public for a few years and then just be done with it. Like I think it's just disgusting that these people, they're just in it for the public trading and like the kickbacks from the lobbyists and stuff like that. Like they make so much money. It's ridiculous how like you see people go into like Congress all the time and like they had no money before, and then like 5 years later they have 8 figures in net worth. It's like what happened here? Like I wonder what happened. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Chris says I'd like to be a career politician, get rich off making people hate me. Yes. That's basically what it is. Quacky, do you wear a Packer jersey on game day? And if so, who?
I don't wear. In fact, I have an Aaron Rodgers Packers jersey, like I guess like the authentic one. I got it years ago, but I think I've only worn it like 4 times ever. It's more just kind of hangs in my closet. I wore it for when I did that. I mean, I made it more for views when I did the Jets to win the Super Bowl back when they were 4-3. It completely blew up in my face, but it got some views. But I have a cheese head, but it's back at my house, like where I grew up in. I think I do have a cheese head, but I don't wear the jersey for the games. I've only worn it a few times, but I do have an authentic like Aaron Rodgers jersey. Let's see what else. I have a Dwight Howard Orlando Magic jersey. I used to wear that. I was a big Dwight Howard in his prime. God, those teams were good. But not during the games though. To answer your question there, slew.
Jason saying, how do hardcore fans not have an active player jersey? I don't know if I have an active player jersey. I don't know. The last jersey I bought was Todd Gurley jersey because he took that knee
I remember
down,
that
because I won so much money with him taking a knee. And I was like, I have to get a Gurley jersey.
That's against Green Bay,
right? But he's not in the NFL anymore. Like, outside of that, I know I have a Drew Brees jersey, but he retired recently, and like I have a bunch of old jerseys. Like I have a Randy Moss Vikings. I have
nice.
What else do I have?
Randy Moss is my favorite NFL player of all time.
Yeah, he's amazing. Who else do I have? I think I have a Carson Palmer Bengals. I have a few others, but like they're all out of the NFL. I think I have a Peyton Manning Colts. I think I have Tom Brady Patriots, but like they're all gone. So I don't think I have an active player at the jersey anymore.
I haven't the baby blue or the light blue Denver Nuggets Allen Iverson jersey somewhere.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love that light blue color in those old Nuggets jerseys. Growing up, I had a Shaq Lakers. I have a 5th grade like school picture like on like the railing like that with wearing a Shaq Lakers jersey of me in like 5th grade. I had a Penny Hardaway jersey. I love Penny Hardaway. I'm an Orlando Magic fan for those that don't know. And I think I had did I have a Rodman jersey? My cousin had a Dennis Rodman jersey. I don't think that I had one though. I don't know, but like I've had like a lot of team shirts. Like I used to have like more than jerseys. Don Beebe. Okay, I love Don Beebe. Oh, you know what? Active on your team, you're saying there, Jay. Sorry, I'm jumping around here on.
Yeah, okay. If you're a hardcore fan of your team, I guess. I don't have a team, so I'm kind of excused, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't. Also, like I live under a rock, so like I don't go many places, so like I wouldn't like wear it out. I guess it's almost like I look at jerseys like memorabilia more than like something to wear. I guess. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get a Jordan Love jersey for sure, but I loved. Let's see what we got here. You got Isaac Bruce. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, the Reverend
what a
Isaac
team.
Bruce. Yeah, that was a great team. Mike saying Walt should go to a jersey store and try to swap some Walt's football. That'd be interesting. Maybe I'll get a Lions jersey if they win the Super Bowl because I feel like I'd have to because I bet so much on them to win the Super Bowl before the year. I feel like I'd have to pay it back, a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel that way too, but that would be blasphemy for Sanders.
That's true. Yeah, if you're a Packer fan, I can understand. But yeah, I have a friend who works for the Lions too. So like I'm rooting for him as well. You'd have to pick Gibbs given how much you made on his draft. Yeah, that's true.
Same.
That is definitely true. It'd have to be Gibbs.
Yeah,
you're right.
Same. John Sanders, Don Beebe. Don Beebe's one of my favorite players, and he was on that Green Bay Packers team that won Super Bowl 31 after he lost the 4 Super Bowls with Buffalo. And I remember actually Brett Favre handing him the ball in the victory formation. It's an interesting story with Beebe too. I saw that if you haven't seen that 30 for 30, for the 4 Falls of Buffalo, I've watched it at least 100 times, keeping it real. And it was interesting. Don Beebe, it's a great story. It's about the 4 consecutive Super Bowls that the Bills lost, and they've got Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith. All the legendary players that were on that team, and they have Don Beebe on there. And he said when he won that Super Bowl, was really interesting. But I wasn't surprised to hear him say this. Like, he was on a new team. He lost 4 Super Bowls with Buffalo. Now he won one on Green Bay. And like the guys, obviously the rest of the Buffalo team couldn't celebrate it with him. And he said he felt guilty a little bit. I thought that was really interesting. So it's a really good, all the way around. It's a great documentary, I guess, unless you're a Bills fan, but a lot of respect for the city of Buffalo. I mean, we all know the Scott Norwood thing, when he missed in the first Super Bowl that they lost, what was that? 1990, I guess. When he went wide right, but just the way the city of Buffalo came back and like cheered him on and like they stood behind him. That's so cool to see. It's so, I think it's so stupid when people are like, oh, someone like does something to like blow a game, like a missed field goal or whatever. And, people are like writing death threats to the person. It's like, come on, So it was, yeah. I just thought that was so cool. And I would say like, if I had to pick like a second team, I really like the Bills. I just have a lot of respect for the city and, the way like the fans come out despite like how bad, what they've been through, with the 4 Super Bowl losses. And so, yeah, I really like Buffalo a lot. Watch that documentary if you haven't seen it. So,
John's saying I won't buy a jersey if the player is younger than me. It's getting to the point where I can only buy kicker or punter jerseys. Yeah, you can get Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure. I assume. Yeah, it is weird to wear a jersey of a player who's younger than you. And for me, it's everyone right now, including Rodgers. Maybe there's a kicker still left, but yeah, with Brady gone, I think it's like everyone now. Yeah, what's weird is like I have these like jerseys. I think I have like 10 or 11 jerseys or something. I've never worn them. I've never worn that Todd Gurley jersey except for on the podcast with Jacob after that win at that cover. I have never worn that otherwise. I've never worn. I used to wear it in high school, but like, and maybe like my freshman year of college. But like after that, I just stopped wearing jerseys.
I'm similar. Like I just don't have like a reason to wear them. I mean, I've gone to some Orlando Magic games and worn the Dwight Howard jersey to the game. sort of
Right.
thing. The helicopter to the ball, put above the stadium, push the ball to the right. Yeah, that's right. That's right, John Sanders. But yeah, no, it's funny that you bring that up too, Walt, because like I like remember watching football as a kid and like thinking like, oh, all these NFL players, like they're big guys, you know, like they're older than me, and it's like now I look at I'm 37 now, and it's just like these are like children. And I mean,
Right.
not literally, but like it's just weird how that changes. And like now you say it's like, yeah, same here. I mean, I'm 37. There aren't too many NFL players that are older than me left, you know. But I do have the jersey of one, Aaron Rodgers, so I get
Chris,
partial credit.
Chris saying you could get a Jason Peters jersey. I just looked up. Jason Peters is 7 months older than me, so I could.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, there's
those,
hope for you yet.
I have to sport those 82ers. So yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to think that. You know what I always wondered too, like Jaromir Jagr on the NHL legend is still playing hockey. He's like 50.
I
Like,
heard
doesn't it seem strange that like because they take a beating too, they get hit all the time. Like, how can they last so much longer? I mean, baseball players last longer. I mean, for pretty obvious reasons. There's far less contact. You know, there's hardly ever what is 37 in duck years? Yeah. I don't know. I don't have there's not a conversion table in my Trapper Keeper there, Chris, but I'll have to get back to you. But like baseball, there's far less contact, so those players, last a lot longer. But I always thought like with hockey, there's definitely harder hitting in football, but I don't know, like how, I mean, if you're on skates, like you're moving, I'm just surprised to see like how many players in hockey can last that long. They got to take a beating too. So
I looked it up. 1 human year equals 4 duck years.
Oh, really? What? So 148 then? Check out the math on Quacky, huh? They used to. I had a job that called me Rain Man once because like I don't know, like the numbers are certain. I have a professional certification in arithmetic, so that helps. Gliding on the ice is easier on you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, serious gliding on the ice is easier on your knees. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You do take a lot of hits, but yeah, as long as you don't suffer concussions like Eric Lindros, like you can keep playing, I guess. But yeah, he was a mess, and I remember he got a really tough time in Philly for missing a lot of time with concussions. But like that was before we knew how serious the concussions were.
Yeah.
Maybe they called you Rain Man because you're an excellent driver.
I'm Sergeant Sally safety behind the wheel. So.
Oh yeah, I once got pulled over for going 110. I was like hurrying home because I had a swim meet to go to in Philly. And I was like trying to get there on time, and the guy didn't give me a ticket. He didn't clock me. I was just like, he just saw I was driving fast. He like pulled me over. He's like, "You know how fast you're going?" I'm like, no. And he's like, "Well, you're going pretty fast." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." I was like, "You just never admit guilt if you're pulled over."
Yeah. Oh,
like,
that's hilarious. See,
that's the worst you can do is admit guilt. Like the one time my mom was driving me home because I had my car inspection or something. And she like ran a red light, but she didn't really, like it was like yellow. Yeah. I think it was yellow. She passed. Cop pulled her over. I had this thought. I'm like, don't tell him anything. But the cop like he's like rolled down the window and he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? And my mom was like, I think I ran a red light. I'm like, oh no, why'd you say that? Like, oh, you always go, I have no idea, officer. Like, be polite. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, officer. I don't know. Just feign ignorance and just be nice, be respectful, and like you'll probably not get any sort of ticket. That's my.
See, I'm the complete opposite of an adrenaline junkie. Like, I don't want to go fast in anything. Like I'm like I've never driven faster than 85, and that's just to pass. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never driven more like consistently. Like, I mean, every now and then, like you're like, oh shoot, like I didn't realize, I'm going like. I thought it was 45 here. I'm going 50. It turns out it was a 35. Like that happens, but like regular driving, I never go more than 5 miles an hour. Like I'm the polar opposite of an adrenaline junkie. I don't want to go like on a race car in a closed track. Like I don't want to go skydiving. I don't want to do any of that. I want to hide here in my cave.
Jason's saying if you say you don't know how fast you were going, then they know you're lying or illegally not checking your speed. I don't know. It worked for me. Like I was like, I'm not sure, officer. Like, and he was like, I don't know. He's like, you could have killed someone out there. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. It was a long time ago. I was think I was 20 years old or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah. John's saying my dad's mind used to wander, and he went 70 mile an hour through a toll booth if I'm back for the worker. That's great.
I wonder how often something like that happens. Like, I feel like that's something you probably think like, oh, that's great. Like, I bet like if you talk to like toll workers, I won't say that happens like every day, but like I bet that's something that happens like more than you think. Maybe not 70, but going like way faster than one should.
You know what? It's funny. I was once driving with my friend Andrew from Penn State. I don't know if you ever met him, but we were going to go to a bowling alley, and my mind was wandering too. And like, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking about, but like, I just kept driving, and he's like, "Well, you just ran a red light." I'm like, "I did," and he's like, "Yeah, I just went through it." I'm like, "Oh wow, I didn't even notice." So yeah,
that sort of thing can definitely happen. I actually ran a stop sign a couple. I mean, it was fine, but like I was like on my way to a job, and I was looking around for the turn, because like sometimes the GPS is like, wait, is it this one or is it the next one? And I was like looking, and I was like, oh crap, there was a stop sign back there. So yeah, like those things can definitely happen for sure too. So which I think supports my point. I bet that sort of thing happens way more often than we think. So.
Yeah, Kim McNeagle saying stay out of Seattle. They're putting speed bumps on main arterials. Yeah, you don't have to talk me into staying out of Seattle. Don't just going there. Mike saying Walt bought off the cop with Walt's football hoodie. Well, this is before I had any merch. I was 20. And my site back then was centralhigh.net/wcharp/football.html. So I definitely could not market that.
Yeah. You never know.
That's true. Yeah. It's the most successful website. That's super long.
Yeah. Imagine if you had bought Walter football stock then. Geez, that guy would have been your best buddy, huh?
Yeah.
That's what I say. I'm going to start my own NFT called Quacky Coin. I mean, 1,000 Quacky coins equals 1 share of Quacky stock, and that might not be worth that much now, but one day when I take off, you'll be glad you held on to those.
Well, sign me up for some. I'll definitely, as long as you don't pump and up like Adam Aaron and AMC or whatever.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. All right, I think that's about it for the show. Do you have anything to plug? Perhaps your Twitch channel?
Yeah, I'm actually going to do maybe 30 minutes after we sign off here. I'm going to get Twitch. I'm going to do a Twitch stream. There's my new logo. That's Quack TV.
Nice.
I've got a whole show. You can't really. You see in the bio there, it's not HBO, it's Quack TV. I just started doing this thing. I'm like, today, I did a stream earlier tonight. All of January is going to be season 1. It was episode 9 tonight. And I've been playing these, for anyone who's familiar, these Super Mario World Kaizo hacks. It's like these fan-made, they're really difficult levels. You have to do really intricate and difficult jumps. I started my first hack yesterday, Super Video World, and I beat it already tonight. I beat it in 2 streams. So I'm going to go on Twitch in about 30 minutes. It's really interesting too. Well, I draw some comparisons to like the Kaizo Super Mario to like hitting a parlay. Like there's so many, like you got to like pick up shells midair, throw them perfectly and bounce right off of them and avoid other things and like do it perfectly. It's kind of like hitting a parlay. It's kind of like hitting like to do, and like there's always a checkpoint. So like when you hit the checkpoint, it's like, oh yes, like, but it's a really cool thing. Like you're learning, like you definitely get better at problem solving. But I'm going to be streaming some Kaizo on there in about 30 minutes. If y'all want to hang out, I mean, the streams are just basically like this, except I'll be playing video games and, I'll be reading the chat and talking with y'all. If you want to join, I'd love to see you on there. Hope you enjoy Quack TV. I'll be on there in about 30 minutes. So.
I love the name. I love Quack TV. I'm glad you're on Twitch now because when you were on Chinese malware,
I'm still on Chinese malware. That's where I'm ranking, and the streams on there are going really well. I've got over 4,000 followers now on there, and some subscriptions too. So hoping to continue that on Twitch, and it's been so much fun. And it turns out I'm a lot better at video games than I thought. So
yeah, I was I hate to brag, but I was quite the video game player back in the day. I haven't played video games in a long time, but
you should tell. You mentioned it before. Which was it? Ocarina of Time. You can beat it with only 3 hearts. You should do a stream of that, man, or you should record it and just put it up on YouTube. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
Ocarina of Time. I beat it without getting any extra hearts. Just beat it with 3 hearts.
that's
And
insane.
no fairies either. No fairies. So yeah, it was a lot of deaths there, but especially late in the game when you get one shot by everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love that run. I took a picture. I did that back in like I still lived in my parents' house. This is like 08 or 09. I did
Hmm.
that back then. I took a couple pictures beating Ganon with 3 hearts, like on my old camera,
Wow.
which like could still be here somewhere. It might be in my desk somewhere. I don't know. I don't know where it is, but it might be in there. But yeah, like it's on there. I don't know if the camera even works, but I did take pictures of it. So like this is before
That's awesome.
streaming. This is before streaming. So
Yeah.
um, that never entered my mind. My biggest video game accomplishment was I was the world record holder on Chocolate Valley. Or it was Chocolate Island or Chocolate Valley, whatever it was. Choco Valley 1 on Super Mario Kart. This is a long time ago.
That's
Uh,
incredible, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's that's absolutely incredible.
yeah. So that was Choco Island 1. I had that course like down to a T. I knew all the curves to take, and like I was like so great at that course, but that was even longer ago. I haven't played that. I haven't played that in a while either. Um, uh, Wait a second. Hold on. Chris saying, I think my biggest video game accomplishment was finally beating TMNT on the NAS. That trumps everything.
Oh,
The
yeah.
original, we're not talking about the beat 'em up side scrollers. We're talking about the
Right.
original
Yeah, the
one.
original, the bomb diffusing in the water. Oh my god, that was like maybe the first time I remember like feeling like rage as a child. That level was so tough. I thought. I mean, I was probably like 7 years old, so like I guess
So that never bothered me. I always made it
really.
past that one. It was the next one with the with the steamrollers, and you have to go through the other sewers, and like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
impossible jumps you have to make, and and you get lost, like you just never knew where to
Hmm.
go. You keep going in circles. Like that was a nightmare. I wonder if I could do better now. I have
I
not
was gonna
tried
say
to
the same
play
thing.
it. And like it's kind of like Battletoads Stage 3 with like the I don't know if you ever
Oh
played
yeah,
that,
with
but
the
like
hoverboard
the
jumping. Oh my
hoverboard, right?
god.
The hoverboard is like when I was a kid, I could never beat it, but I did beat it when I had graduated college a couple years after. Like I actually did beat it, so I wonder if I'd have more success with it now. Now that I could
Yeah, I
probably
think
like
that.
write down where I need to go.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair too because I don't think I would probably do better at it now uh, than I did. Yeah, I probably haven't played it in like 20 years, like seriously played it in 20 years at least. So, but you know how I know I'm getting better at video games because when I always used to joke on the streams. I still do sometimes. I'm like, I'm not a real gamer. I just play one on TV. But like, you're gonna enjoy this, Walt. So I was streaming Super Ghouls and Ghosts like a couple weeks ago. I didn't beat it on the stream. I did, and then like I just was switching around games. Like I didn't beat it on the stream, but I got to the last level. I couldn't believe it, like and like pretty quickly. So like that's how I know like the video game skills are definitely definitely improving. That's one of the hardest. The original on NES, the Ghosts and Goblins on NES. I remember like one time I was over at your house and like we were watching like a playthrough of it and we're like, remember I was like I hate those red flying demons and the second I said it like we're watching the playthrough and there it comes swooping in. Those things are impossible to beat. That's such a hard game.
Yeah, I got to the last level in that game. I feel like I was like possessed like one playthrough. My friend Ryan, who was actually the site's editor, he was over. Like we're drinking and playing video games, and like dude, I was in the zone. Like I was just like I felt like I couldn't lose like in that game. I don't know what was going on, but I remember the stage 4 with like the one with the bridge.
Oh my
I did
god.
not die. I did not die at all in that level. I felt like I was just possessed. Like something like possessed my body and like made me make all the right jumps and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I can't explain it. But those red demons were so bad. Especially like there's one in the first level, but like if you get to level 3 too, there are like 3 in a row that you have to get
Yeah.
through, and it's just so brutal. Like that game is so tough.
We should call
Um,
you beat the fourth level without like we should call like the Guinness Book of World Records for
Yeah, I don't understand how I did that. Like I just like it was my first time ever seeing that level too. and I just like I made all the right jumps and everything like that. Like I don't know what possessed me. I don't think I could ever do that again.
You know what I hate the most about those red demons, other than being impossible to beat, is that like when they fly around and then they do that little dance.
Yep.
I hate that. It's like they're taunting you. Like to me, there's just like never any pattern to them. And it's like doesn't matter if you jump and try to throw the weapon or you stay low. Like it's just like they just keep avoiding it, and it's just like dumb luck. Like I swear, like half the time, and then they'll just freaking taunt you at the same time.
I wonder if there's a pattern, and then like you can just watch them for like 10 minutes or something like that. If there's like a game genie or something and make you invincible, and just like notice, like just watch them for like 10 minutes, and maybe you can like pick up a pattern. Because I don't know if it's like all RNG. Like I think that I don't know. I think it'd be curious to see if anyone solved that ever.
Yeah, Mike Hartle, that was my age 7 video game trauma might explain him today. It definitely accounts for something, that's for sure. But and Walt, I think there definitely is a pattern with those red demons, because it's like eventually like playing Super Goals and like I better. I mean, they still like got me like many times, but like I definitely improved. So let it all out. Yeah, I'm trying to. Thank you for hearing my story. It was it sucks, but I've definitely been getting better. And the Kaizo hacks are really, really difficult. And the one that I played is one of the beginner ones. There are some that like some of these really good gamers that I've seen play. It's like it's called like Shelltopia. It's like all shell jumps. It's like picking up the shell, throw, bounce off, pick up the other one, and like it's all like one fluid motion. The Quacky Red Demon dance.
Just it'd be great if like someone scored a touchdown this weekend and did that. They watched
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Get me on camera. Put me in the end zone. Like right behind the goalpost in the crowd. And see if you can get me on camera. This old game's. Remember what was Icky? What was his name from the Cleveland Browns?
The Icky Shuffle, yeah. Well, the Bengals.
Yeah,
the best touchdown dance would be that red demon, and then like he would like smother another player, and the other player would drop his pants and reveal like only words.
You know what I always say when I stream? Whenever I stream, hey 1777. Whenever I stream Super Ghouls and Ghosts, because like remember in like the beginning cutscene, like it explains why you're on the journey. Like you're the guy. I don't even know if he has a name, but like he's in his armor and he's like seeing like the princess or whatever. It's like the dude must have just gotten home from whatever journey he was on, and all of us like he's still in his armor, and like they get close, like it's like zooming in on the window, and then like he gets closer to the girl. He's still, and then the demon swoops through the glass and steals the girl. It's like. What a freaking cock block, man. It's like, dude, I just got home from like, he can't give me like 10 minutes. Obviously, he's just coming back from whatever night journey he was on. Why else would he be wearing his night gear? That's what I say.
The original cock blocker. How about that?
And then you have to start the game. So that's what I'm saying. But I said that on my stream. It landed pretty well. So when it happened.
Yeah. That's actually a good thought. 1777 asking, did we pick all the favorites? I had the Texans, but then I had the other 3 favorites. I think you did you have all the favorites? I think you did, right?
Well,
you had all the favorites, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. One game, we all know the Packers game. I mean, I picked the 49ers, but y'all know what it is. The regulars know. The Walter football family VIPs know. No, you're all VIPs. I'm just kidding.
So there you go. Says, what if Bills defender scores anytime touchdown? You'll break into the Quacky Red Demon dance. Yes.
Dude, that would be awesome. Why do I feel like that's going to happen? Well, whether they do the dance or not, I'll be happy if the defense or special teams gets in the end zone. So I'll take what I can get.
There has to be at least one upset. If you had to pick, like, let's take away Bills Chiefs because that's the small spread. If you had to pick one team to win outright, who is it?
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but Green Bay, for sure.
Okay, I'd go Houston, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, and I see why you. I just think, like I said before, I think Houston's more likely to be the team to hit that wall that we were talking about earlier. But I mean, it could certainly happen to Green Bay too. I see you don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx it. My pick is the 49ers. keep that in mind when you're scrolling through your DraftKings and your FanDuel and what have you this weekend. Pay attention to the visual aids here. But I would pick the Packers as the one underdog for sure. That they're going to be good for a little bit. Did you see that stat during the Packers Cowboys game? It was like the whatever. It was like the average age of like all the receivers. They're like the youngest, like they were like first in like everything for like a receiving core, like under a certain age. I can't remember what the stat was, but I was just like, damn, this is incredible. I don't know. I mean, Packers are so young, but it's like it just seems it's like now like Wicks is having a good game. And like all of a sudden Dubs has a good game, and then like who's this guy Bo Melton, And then and they've been doing it like over the last handful of weeks without Christian Watson. Like I know he's back, but I don't know. I mean, it's easy and historically it's been correct. Team's too young, too inexperienced. There's inexperienced. How many times do they rise to the top? I mean, they might get close sometimes, but so that argument historically from a perspective of percentages pans out, but I don't know. It just seems like a team like they're decently well balanced. I think so. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited for the game. I'm really excited for that game.
Yeah, it says of all the teams that won last week, the Lions looked the weakest. I mean, the Rams were ranked number 1 in the metrics. They were 4th in offense, 6th in defense. They're the only team in the top 6 of offense and defense entering last week. Not even the Ravens were in top 6 in both. So I mean, think about the teams that won. So like the Packers beat the Cowboys, and it's an NFC East team. The Cowboys got destroyed by the Niners. Like the Cowboys are a flawed team for sure. Like they beat up on bad teams all year. But like they almost lost to Seattle at home and stuff. The Texans beat the Browns. Amari Cooper was not healthy in that game. Who else is still alive? So the Buccaneers beat the Eagles. The Eagles are trash. They lost to Arizona and the Giants to close out the year, and the Drew Lock led Seahawks. Who else is playing?
You're talking about the Eagles?
No, like the teams that won last weekend. So might as well pull it up. So yes, the Texans beat the Browns. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins, and that they're missing half their defense. The Bills beat the Steelers. The Steelers, they were missing TJ Watt, so they were not themselves. And plus Mason Rudolph against the top 5 defense, like no chance. The Cowboys talked about them, and then the Rams, and then so like of the 6 wins last week, the Lions beat the toughest team by far, like Chris said. Like not even close. Like that was a really impressive win, even though it was by 1. I think more impressive than the Buccaneers win over the Eagles, really. It says Rams have a decent team. The offense game plan was mad, just like use Nuka and RB1. The Rams are a really good team. Like, it's so talented. And the Lions beat them. The Lions only scored a field goal in the last 30 minutes. But they had a great first half. I don't know. They can't take that away from them. I mean, that Lions Rams team, I think you could argue are 2 of the top 4 teams in the NFL. They just happened to play each other in the first round. So like that easily could have been an NFC championship matchup, I think.
I agree.
John saying the Bills shutting down the Steelers running backs is the biggest surprise in that game. I guess, but like, with Mason Rudolph, you could stack the box and like just force Mason to beat you. Like, I don't know. That's why I like the Bills a lot that game. I thought they'd be able to do that. And like Mason Rudolph against the top 5 defense, like he played against the Bengals, Seahawks, and Ravens backups. Like those Bengals and Seahawks were bottom 5 in defense, and the Seahawks or the Ravens backups, obviously easy matchup there. Like that was his first tough matchup of the year. So Harris was running the ball well coming in that game. He was, but like again, they're playing against horrible defenses. So, like it's just a huge step up in competition. John, they asked me if I could play linebacker third quarter. Yeah, like I said, it was the Camden, New Jersey linebacking core. The Niners wouldn't have been game planning for Dallas, as playing them wasn't possible this week. That is true, but maybe for the NFC Championship. All right, so I guess that's about it. So Yeah. So check out Quacky on Twitch. Like he said, he's gonna be streaming soon. I love those Kaizo Mario hacks. They're always fun to watch.
There's so much. It's equal parts frustrating and so much fun.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
You know what I thought was interesting about it? Like, I thought I would be like, I don't know what to do, but it's more like I know what to do and I just can't do it. So
Right.
That was a surprise, but the folks like from the Kaizo community, and there are many, were like, I mean, I definitely exceeded my own expectations, but they were like, wow, like you've like crushed that. Like, so I feel pretty good. We're gonna keep playing them, and like I said, it's like hitting a parlay, like hitting like maybe like a 7 or 8 legger or something to run through it. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Looking forward to that. We'll be back on Saturday with Saturday Notes as usual. A half hour after the second game. So tune in then. John asking, what's your favorite prop bet of the weekend? I haven't looked at that. I'll have my prop bets posted tomorrow night / Saturday morning. So I'll know then. I haven't looked at the props though. What I do like though, I don't know if this will be the favorite, but I like mobile quarterbacks rushing over yards because mobile quarterbacks tend to run more in the playoffs. That's just like so frustrating that Jalen Hurts didn't run, but I think he was banged up. So the Josh Allen rushing over hit, Patrick Mahomes rushing over hit last weekend. So I like Lamar Jackson. I like Mahomes. I like Josh Allen all over rushing yards. So I'll be on those.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, yeah, go ahead. No,
I haven't even looked at it, but maybe Baker Mayfield over passing yards too. We think he's going to be throwing a lot.
Yeah, they're going to have to be in that pass funnel defense. You're right. I like that. I like Baker Mayfield over passing yards, so that's something to look forward to as well. So yeah, that's something to consider. And I'll have same game parlays. Like I said, not sure if I'm going to handle one game or multiples, but it might just be the one game because it's easier. But yeah, I'll have those props on Saturday night. I'll be talking about them as well. Definitely not Bucks +6. We both love the Lions more than any other side. So you might have to rewind to hear our analysis of that. Jared Goff over 3 rushing yards. Well, be careful of those kneel downs because those hurt.
Yeah. Slew, we can't take you anywhere, man. Come on. You're good, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, so thanks so much, guys, for commenting and watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for Alan Stafford for his $10 super chat and Can't Make an Eagle for his $9.99 super chat. Really appreciate you guys for the support. Like I said, we make nothing off YouTube ads, so any support you give, really appreciate it. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, and share this video as well. That'll help us out a lot. 1777 says that Bills game is going to be insane. Josh Allen going to try with all he's got to win. Yeah, for sure. It's cool. That's the last game too. I think it might be the best one. And that's what the line says. It's the smallest line. So really could go either way. And I'm really looking forward to that injury report so we know who's going to play. So yeah. All right. Tom, thanks so much for joining me. Always a blast to do these shows with you. And I love how like we delve into like video game talk toward the end. That's always fun.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's always a great time, and we'll do it. Like I said, I think last show, once football season is over, I'm going to have, in addition to my streams, kind of have a show like this where we can just talk games and whatever else comes up. We've never I think like whenever we have like phone calls, like the minimum time is like 2 hours.
I know.
We've talked like we've decided collectively we could probably do the 24 hours straight if it was like possible. So. There's no shortage of topics.
If I didn't have kids, we could do it.
Yeah, you're right.
I think my wife would leave me if I was like, hey, I'm gonna do a 24-hour stream. You have the kids completely.
Oh yeah,
right now.
I'm sure she'd be thrilled with me too.
Yeah.
Go Pack, Quack, go. I appreciate.
I don't know.
it. So.
I don't know if she'd be angry at you or me. That'd be a tough call. I don't know. But it would be. I'd hear about it for a long time. So so that's not in the cards. Maybe when of my kids are like 18 plus and moved out, then maybe we'll be able to do that.
Yeah. We'll still be here talking about sports 20. Yeah. Hey, we've been talking football for 20 years. We're going to talk about it in 20 more. So
that's true.
We'll be here for it. It'll happen one day.
Yep. All right, Tom. I'll talk to you next week. Once again, thanks guys for watching and commenting, and I'll be back Saturday. So I'll talk to you then.